गुड आफ्टरनून, गुड इवनिंग ऑल। कैसे हैं सब लोग? मेरा नाम है अरविंद और हम हैं हैचबग बॉयज और हमारे साथ है सौरभ।
Hello everyone, how is everyone doing?
सौरभ, आई एम वेयरिंग ग्रीन, सो टोटली
Oh,
अनप्लान्ड, बट that's
you
actually been one
you
of the
you should
state of.
you sh you should be yeah,
I know. But I think it was a fabulous, high-scoring,
true.
what do you call, high-scoring day. काफी
Yeah.
सेंचुरीज आई हैं इस स्कोर में, बट लेट्स क्विकली टॉक हुआ क्या है। सौरभ, आई थिंक वी कैन स्टार्ट फर्स्ट विद द फर्स्ट गेम ऑफ द डे, which was
England
England
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, which happened in Dharamshala. That was a day game. तो दर्शकों के लिए बता दें कि क्या हुआ है। इंग्लैंड, आई थिंक, was I don't remember who won the toss, but England was batting first, and England scored 364 for 9. David Milan, fabulous century, 140 from him on just 107 balls. Um, I mean, जो उन्होंने लास्ट गेम जो doesn't run a ball, जो स्लो गेम खेला था, कंप्लीट ऑपोजिट रहा है उनका। was very well supported by Joe Root, उन्होंने 82 मारा है, and everyone else, 20 रन मारे हैं, and it did look like एक टाइम पे इंग्लैंड में स्कोर इवन 400। तो
Hmm.
लास्ट में विकेट्स गिर गए थे, बांग्लादेश was able to pull it back, but 364, मेहदी हसन ने 4 विकेट्स लिए हैं। To be honest, he was the guy who pulled things back. But बांग्लादेश के लिए वो एक्चुअली इतना हाई स्कोर रहा है कि they could not do it. They lost a lot of wickets initially. I think they were 25 for 3 or something. I don't remember exactly क्या था, but somewhere around like early 20s when they were 3 wickets down. And there was Shakib Muslim went away very cheaply as well. तो ऐसा लगा था कि this was over, but essentially लिटन दास और मुशफिकुर रहीम ने थोड़ा बहुत रेसिस्टेंस दिया है, 75 70 odd 50 odd माना के। but it was in the end was too much for them. रिजवान ने 39 मारा है, but really it was basically हो गया था गेम, and Bangladesh wrapped it by 227. Pick of the bowlers, Reece Topley. Remember this name? He's gonna come again in this World Cup. Remember the name? He took 4 wickets for 43. But yeah, I think a very convincing victory for England after what has happened in their match one against New Zealand. They won by 137 runs.
Okay.
So let's talk about this. What did you think of the game, and what did you think of England's performance?
I think the only thing which I think England would be a little disappointed of कि उन्होंने 400 या 450 रन नहीं मारे। I think at one moment it was, मुझे लग रहा था कि it is written on the wall कि ये 400 रन तो मरने ही वाले हैं। I think one thing which England would be hoping for, I think रूट का फॉर्म अच्छा रहा है, मलान ने अच्छे रन बनाए हैं, बैरिस्टो भी आज ठीक ठाक लगे, उन्होंने फर्स्ट मैच में भी 30-40s मार दिए। I think one thing that England would want on a longer run is how Josh Butler, हालांकि मुझे आज 20 रन जो उन्होंने मारे थे 10 बॉल पे, he looked okay, बस आई थिंक स्लोअर बॉल पे आउट हो गया। और लिविंगस्टन, बटलर और लिविंगस्टन की परफॉर्मेंस बाद में जाके लेटर पार्ट ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट, आई थिंक दैट्स गोना बी की।
Absolutely.
एक और चीज इंटरेस्टिंग है, आई मीन आई थिंक इट्स वे टू अर्ली, लेकिन द लाइक्स ऑफ बटलर, लिविंगस्टन, क्लासन, चलो ठीक है उन्होंने थोड़े रन मारे हैं, लेकिन ये इस टाइप के जो बैट्समैन है, पावर हिटर्स, they really
Yep.
haven't set the World Cup yet on fire. So this is something, we may have to, watch out in the later part of the World Cup as we move on to the second week. लेकिन हाँ, barring Butler and Livingston form, I think England kind of ticked all the boxes as far as batting is concerned. They would want their lower order, especially Sam Currans of the world, Adil Rashid, Vokes. कितना खेलते हैं वोक्स बाद में जाके, क्योंकि बात चल रही है जोफ्रा आर्चर के टीम में आने की। आई डोंट नो, these are Chinese whispers, yes or no. So वो चाहेंगे कि उनकी जो लेंथी बैटिंग लाइनअप है, they contribute, to the score. But barring that, I think it was an amazing batting performance by England. जैसे ही यार 350 क्या कितने रन मारते, 367
364.
I mean, if it was Australia, India, any other team, then yeah, match could have been interesting considering, England bowling is slightly weak. Like you don't expect 365 to be chased by a team like Bangladesh. और सिर्फ लिटन दास ने थोड़े रन्स मारे. He was एक टाइम पे तो ऐसा लग रहा था कि he was batting in a different pitch compared to the rest of the Bangladeshi batsmen. और जैसे ही 4-5 विकेट दे दिए, मैच खत्म हो गया, and I switched, the channel to Pakistan versus.
Pakistan. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Yeah.
But wrap करते हैं इस segment का. What did you think of the pitch and the ground?
मैंने मैच देखा, लेकिन शायद आपने कोई देखा कि पिच तो मुझे ठीक लगी. ये मुझे लग रहा है कि शायद
outside the outfield.
हाँ, आउटफील्ड आपने किसी को देखा डाइव करते हुए?
So I'm trying to remember. I did see one or two. The grass was basically coming out. I don't remember who it was.
But हाँ,
बांग्लादेश के नेक्स्ट में था.
अच्छा, तो irrespective किसने डाइव किया कि नहीं, looking at the images, it's torrid. I think
the outfit looked bad.
Outfit looked very very bad, and I think हमने इस पे टच अपॉन किया था कि ये पूरा धर्मशाला का ग्राउंड उन्होंने रिले किया, and this possibly is the reason. So undercooked ground मुझे लग रहा है ये, as far as the outfit.
And Saurav, if I believe right, Josh Butler was actually critical of the pitch.
Very critical.
It's not for ideal for the World Cup. He was very critical about it, and he said that this is a very poor pitch.
Poor ground.
I think I'm trying to read the exact statement he made. जो उन्होंने press conference में करा था कि, and I'm just reading it. This is quote unquote Josh Butler. He said, "Yeah, I think it's poor in my own opinion. I think anytime you're sort of talking about being careful diving or sort of being careful when you're fielding, it sort of goes everything against you want to be as a team. I think it's a very telling statement कि अगर आपको बोल रहे हैं कि भाई आप dive के लिए careful रहना, running के लिए careful रहना, this is World Cup. This is not a gully cricket." So Himachal State Cricket Association, I'm kind of a bit disappointed that you add one more disappointment to what has already been a disappointing World Cup, in my opinion. Actually, एक वीडियो बन सकता है कि all the disappointments together, what a disappointing start it has been, and so far everything has been. And I'm kind of waiting for the India-Pakistan game to see if this World Cup will be turned around, because if that game doesn't turn this around, this World Cup is a disaster. But yeah, that I think was a telling statement from Josh Butler.
Pretty telling.
Yeah. So yeah, let's switch to the game too, because as you rightly said कि 2 बजे के बाद Indian time zone में you basically switch to TV on, क्योंकि आपको पता चल गया था कि बांग्लादेश तो जीतने वाला नहीं है, but हैदराबाद में was a fabulous game was going on, and you wanted to see what really was happening there. तो दर्शकों के लिए बता दें, we had a world record chase by the men in green. Sri Lanka versus Pakistan happened in Hyderabad. Sri Lanka के लिए तो हैदराबाद तो पाकिस्तान के लिए हैदराबाद became home ground. This was their third consecutive, I think warm-ups को भी include कर रहा हूँ मैं, third या fourth consecutive. जो बोल रहा था बाबर आजम की ये तो घर जैसे लग रहा है, the hospital has been great. I think it has looked it, they were so comfortable and they created history. क्या हिस्ट्री करा है ये हम आपको बताने वाले हैं. श्रीलंका ने जो बैटिंग टॉस जीता और बल्लेबाजी करने का फैसला किया. श्रीलंका एक्चुअली स्कोर्ड वेरी वेल, ऑल्दो एंड स्कोर देखेंगे तो बहुत बड़ा स्कोर लग रहा है और बड़ा स्कोर कर सकते थे वो एक्चुअली. कुशाल मेंडिस has played a blinder of a knock. Blinder is a little of understatement. Again, by the way, जो उन्होंने पहले मैच में करा था, he repeated it again. He scored 122 runs of just 77 balls, which includes 14 fours and 6 sixes. So you can think almost 70% of his scoring has come from his boundaries. Boundaries itself. Kushal Perera immediately out हो गए थे, but then he had a big partnership between Srilanka and Mendes. And then there was a big partnership between Mendes and Sadeera Samaravikrama, which was a game changing one, क्योंकि जब कुशाल मेंडेस आउट हुए थे, स्कोर था 29 ओवर्स, दे वर 218. नॉर्मली जब आप वर्ल्ड कप में आते हो और वनडे खेलते हो, द नॉर्मली द रूल ऑफ थंब इज, इट्स नॉट अ ऑफिशियल रूल, बट द रूल ऑफ थंब इज 30 ओवर्स में जो स्कोर आता है, यू काइंड ऑफ टिपिकली डबल इट. And that's how the evolution of T20 game has happened. You push the run rate a little bit faster. इन्होंने थोड़ा पीछे कर दिया, क्योंकि जैसे ही कुशाल मेंडिस आउट हुए, स्कोरिंग रेट थोड़ा कम हो गया है. 218 फॉर 2 से in the last 20 overs, they just all 21, 22 overs, almost 21 overs, let's say, they only scored another 130 runs, 125 runs. If you look at it from a T20 stand, 20 overs and 125 is not a big score. And I think that is been now the reason of your hindsight when they Kajaki what has happened eventually in the change. But anyway, Sadeera Samaravikrama played well though. I mean, he made sure he collapsed nahi hua. He himself scored another century. So there was 2 centurions in Sri Lanka. He also scored at a pretty brisk pace. He scored, I think, at 108 of 89 balls or something. So again, very, you know, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो पूरी तरह रोक गए थे. श्रीलंका ने अपने 50 ओवर में 344 मारा है, which I felt, I think we both were talking about it, was at least 25-30 runs short where they were. एक जमाने पे लग रहा था कि ये तो 400 क्रॉस करने वाले. ऐसा लग रहा था कि हसन अली, by the way, took 4 wickets. This thing, he was the guy who was breaking the partnerships as well, or brought them back into the game. ऐसा लगा था कि यार ये मुश्किल होने वाला है, even though 344 is a world record. No one has chased in World Cup like this. और पहले ही 10 ओवर के अंदर अंदर इमाम उल हक और द ग्रेट बाबर आजम, Pakistan's #1 batsman, got out. And I think they were 35 for 2 or 37 for 2, something like that in 8th over. They were scoring at a rate of 4. And here comes the partnership. Abdullah, Shafique, and the ever-present Mohammad Rizwan come together, and they both smash centuries. Abdullah Shafique ne pehla century mari, 113, and then Mohammad Rizwan goes past 100. He was even having cramps, he was not able to run, and yet he scores 131, and essentially kind of brings them back into the game. 208 chala gaya tha. They got them back, and then Shout Shakil and Iftikhar Ahmed basically helped Rizwan, and then finally Pakistan was able to actually finish the chase in less than 49 overs, 10 balls to spare. Pakistan scores 345 for 4, creating world record and history in World Cup chases. So that was the cricket. Essentially, none in Sri Lanka really had any answers in the bowling. Pati Rana, 9 overs, 90 runs, by the way. I don't know if that would be one of the more expensive spells ever, if you look at it from the last 2 games. But really, Madhushankar took 2 wickets, and that's the only solace they had. So Pakistan won the game by 6 wickets and effectively have won 2 of the 2 games when they meet next in India. So Saurav, क्या लगा हैदराबाद का धमाका देख के?
तो I think just like England, Sri Lanka would be disappointed that they didn't score 400 as well. I think that was a difference. I think वही मेरे को लगता है difference है. हालांकि I still believe 345 is a decent score to defend. लेकिन knowing Hyderabad ground, and I kind of just if I just speak historically, there have been matches in the past as well. India Australia का एक famous match मुझे याद आता है where Sachin Tendulkar actually scored quite a number of runs, 170, 180. It's kind of good chasing. You can actually chase, quite a large score here. तो मेरे दिमाग में था कि ये हो सकता है. श्रीलंका की bowling, although it's not bad, but it's not too good as well कि you cannot chase 345 considering आपके पास बाबर हैं, रिजवान हैं, फिर शफीक. I know it was a surprise to me, लेकिन आपके पास इफ्तिकार हैं. तो again Pakistan started very badly. Expected था मुझे इमाम उल हक से. I think people are, or the teams are going to realize he is vulnerable against short ball. फिर से pull करते हुए दोबारा आउट हुए हैं दूसरी टाइम.
Mm-hmm.
Babar Azam would consider himself unlucky. I don't know those scores. उनके काफी दिन से मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है उन्होंने अच्छा स्कोर नहीं किया. I don't know if it's a big one is pending against India. Hopefully not in Ahmedabad. लेकिन ऑफ फैबुलस टॉक बाय अब्दुल्ला शफीक. आई नो पाकिस्तान में इनकी काफी चर्चा रही है. T20 में भी इन्होंने 100 बनाया था आई थिंक PSL में. सो अगेन ही मैंने उनका करियर देखा है टेस्ट मैचेस वगैरह में. तो यूजुअली डज लुक
Mm-hmm.
लाइक अ राहुल द्रविड़ sort of a player. Okay, या फिर यूसुफ यूहाना, what is his name, मोहम्मद यूसुफ
Mm-hmm.
sort of a player, a classical sort of a player. So you never expect him to come gung ho in the T20s and the ODI format. और मुझे लगा था कि शायद 60-70 runs and that possibly is what the maximum that I can expect from him. But he surprised me. He played very, very well. And Rizwan, I think you can call him the match winner for Pakistan. He's done it a number of times in T20s. I think आज Indian spectators को और जिन्होंने मैच देखा उनको दिखा होगा उनका पोटेंशियल क्या है वनडे मैचेस में भी. Amazing innings, काफी cramps थे उनको,
Mm-hmm.
but he withstood everything and eventually they were able to score 344. I think एक telling number है Arvind, I don't know if you saw that. मैं बस मैच के एंड में मैंने देखा ये. They gave away 26 extras. Sri Lanka gave away 26
Oh,
extras, and if those extras were like buys, it is okay, or even buys for a matter of fact, it is okay. Lekin those were 25 of 26 were wides.
oh
And
my God.
so you're bowling extra deliveries and you've given away extra runs. So I think वो भी एक, so you're talking of almost 50-60 runs का gap, क्योंकि श्रीलंका को 25 से 30 रन मिनिमम ज्यादा बनाने चाहिए थे और 25 रन यहाँ पे आपने एक्स्ट्रा दे दिए. So there's a difference
Pressure
considering
ही उड़ गया. 50 runs, 50 run is a
50
big
रन.
swing, right?
Yeah.
It effectively is
So
almost adds one net run rate of one run per over
true,
additionally.
true, 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 true.
So,
So
and sort of you rightly said, Hyderabad historically has been a high, has had records. आपने सही बोला था. I was trying to look into the stats की where it was. It was Sachin Tendulkar who scored 175 here versus Australia.
true.
And people may not remember it or realize it. Shubman Gill scored his 208 as well at this very venue. This was back in 2023 at the start of this, at the start of this
Calendar
year,
year.
when they were playing New Zealand, when they played New Zealand here, he scored 208 and India scored 349. So historically, Hyderabad has been, and New Zealand actually came very close. That came 335 award. It was a very narrow win for India, even though India scored 350. तो आपने सही बोला कि 340 350 हैदराबाद में हो चुका है. दिस वाज नॉट द थिंग. No one scored above 350 and that आपने जो सही बोला है ना वो 25 run extra swing on both sides. Even if you reduce that to 25 to a 10 extras and then add 20 runs here, that's 380 390 and that effectively would have sealed the game for Sri Lanka. But yeah, we can wrap up here. But essentially, sort of basically क्या है कि England is playing Afghanistan next. So that's going to be a very interesting game. And I think Pakistan का सबको पता है. Pakistan is leaving their home Hyderabad, जहाँ पे उनको काफी support भी मिल रहा है ground से. And they're going to go and travel now. They're going to go to Ahmedabad first for the big game, which is the India-Pakistan. And then from there on, they go to Chennai and Kolkata. So Pakistan is now going to be a traveling sort of a game, this thing. So what happens now is Bangladesh has a game now with New Zealand. So Bangladesh has lost the game. And now they need to win, and they need to beat New Zealand in Chennai. So they're going to meet them in Chennai. India is playing Pakistan, and then England is playing Afghanistan, and then Sri Lanka will meet Australia. So kind of definitive game for some of them that if they start losing, then suddenly are going to get behind, like of Sri Lanka and like Bangladesh. But yeah, so that's where we landed here. Our focus tomorrow is the big game. India is playing Afghanistan tomorrow. And then uske baad, the day after tomorrow, Australia is playing South Africa at Lucknow. So those are the next two games. We could do a review after these two games and we'll figure it out if we can come up with a preview game for India, Australia. But I think we can wrap up here, I would think.
We can.
That's all if we have. Yeah, so please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends and family. Share us your comments. What did you think of, England versus Bangladesh and the Pakistan's run chase? Do you think Pakistan is now getting into momentum when they play against India? It's going to be a all interesting game. And can India, get into momentum of beating Afghanistan tomorrow? Share us with your comments. What do you think of today's games here? Until then, we will talk again later. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.